Hello and good morning everybody, as it's very early, but I'm fresh and full of energy to make this video. I'm joking. Okay, as promised in this video, I'm going to show you the materials that I'm using and I was using to study Chinese and Arabic. So let's start. Okay, as you can see, I prepared the whole pack of materials. These are all the materials that I have so far that are not online for Chinese. Let's start with Chinese first. So, to start, I want to say that I think that in learning anything, the most important is the basis. And when you're learning a new language, I don't think you should hurry up and rush into the next level. You should focus more on the basis, because the basis is the most important, actually. If you have the basis of the language, I think it's a fundament that you can use to build, well, your knowledge of this language. And I'm a very big fan of a website where there are different online courses from different universities. One of these websites is coursera.org. And I used to watch a lot of videos, courses there on different topics, not only learning languages, honestly. But suddenly I found a course of Chinese, actually several courses of online Chinese. And I thought, that's interesting, a free online course on the language. Well, I didn't plan to learn this language, but why not? I can try, it won't hurt me. And that's how I started learning Chinese. I signed up for 3 of these courses. 2 of them were in English, Chinese for beginners, and I think Chinese characters, something like that. And 1 was in Russian from my university, actually, St. Petersburg State University. And I did all the 3 courses, more or less in a parallel way, because, well, I wanted to use different resources and material. Also, I wanted to see the different approaches to learning Chinese. For example, in the Russian course, they started using Chinese characters right from the beginning, but first they were using pinyin, of course, and translations. And in the Chinese for beginners, in the English language, they didn't use Chinese characters, only pinyin. So maybe for somebody who wants to learn Chinese just to speak, it's a good option. Not for me, because I think when you're learning language, you should learn everything. How to read, how to write, how to speak, how to listen. But that's my approach. It took me almost 1 year to complete this course, because I was studying at weekends, because I was working during the day, I was super busy. And I remember I was studying like for 3 hours every Saturday, something like that. And for you to understand what I'm talking about, I have to explain the structure of this course. So there were at first several slides with new words written with English characters and also with translation to Russian. I was copying all these characters in a special notebook, and well, I will show you my notebook and the result of this hard work. Then there were lessons on grammar, and after that there were phrases like native Chinese speakers speaking in Chinese and like saying some phrases, not very fast, and with the Russian translation. And then the last section, and the most difficult one, were dialects. So there were 2 native Chinese speakers speaking in Chinese about the topic of the unit. And it was just with Chinese characters, no pinyin, no translations. So what I was doing, I was copying all of these words, writing them down, searching every single character, trying to translate it, trying to deduce the meaning. If there were new characters that didn't appear in the lesson, and so I didn't have them written down in my notebook, I was writing them down with the translation. And it took me like hours to do that. It's like similar to the job that I was doing with English when I didn't speak English, that I was describing in the previous video. So I was doing that with Chinese. So it's hugely, like, enormously time consuming, but I think it's very useful as well. Let me show you some materials related to this story and then I'll continue. So, for example, this was my notebook where I was writing different things. It's basically my grammar notebook. I was practicing writing characters, for example. Then my dictionary, my own dictionary, was that. I was numbering the words, as you can see, and I got to 1,500 now, a bit more, actually. As you can see, I will take every free moment to practice Chinese characters from memory or from a text that I find all the time. Especially when I'm flying, because I fly a lot, I travel a lot, so as I'm bored on a flight, I cannot sleep, so I practice Chinese. So this is my new notebook, as you can see, almost 1,500. And that's it about these materials. Yeah, so, well, basically that. Now, that's the first course that I did, the first course of the basic Chinese. Then in September last year, I moved to St. Petersburg for 3 months and I took some particular classes of Chinese. What we did basically was follow a book, a Chinese book for Russian speakers. And we started with phonetics, so we had like 2 or 3 full classes only on phonetics, pronunciation, etc. And then we started speaking. So basically we revised again the same elementary level. Here, for example, you can see an extract from this book. There are some pages, I copied them, and here my practice in Chinese. And so with this particular teacher, we basically revised again the elementary level. That's it, second time elementary level. Okay, and finally, when I moved back to Barcelona, I decided to continue with Chinese, and I took some books from a library, from a local library that I have nearby. I started with Hanyu, E, but now I continue to Hanyu, R. And, well, basically it's a Chinese book for Spanish speakers, so there are words translated into Spanish. And I was following the book, so I finished completely the first book that was elementary Chinese, and I started the second one. This book is amazing because it has CDs. Actually, I had to buy a special CD player for that because I have a Mac, so I cannot play CDs there. And it has, well, a lot of activities, material, and so on and so forth, so you can use CDs to listen to the native speaker speaking. But I must say that it's complicated because, for example, there are some characters appearing in the previous units that actually appear in the dictionary of the following unit. So I had to deduce also the meaning of this character, and it was a bit difficult, but it's okay. It's also a bit time consuming, but it's fine. For example, here is the dictionary with translations into Russian by units. I was practicing them. Then the table of basic characters, also practicing that. The most common Chinese characters. This was with translations into Spanish. For example, the last thing that I printed was this document. Basically, it's a dictionary of words appearing in the online course in the order of the lessons. Yeah, finally, the last thing also that I started doing is the second part of the same online course that I did last year. So my St. Petersburg State University, they did the second part of the course, well, the second level of the course, that I think it would be something like B1. And the same structure as the structure I explained before. The only difference is that it doesn't appear on Coursera.org, it only appears on the website, the Russian website, openedu.ru. So you have to register there. You can sign up using Facebook, for example. Everything is in Russian, but if you speak Russian, it can be useful for you as well. And I started doing the second course there, Chinese course. And finally, the last thing that I wanted to show you is a little book. It was very cheap, so I guess maybe it's not like super good to learn Chinese, but to practice maybe yes, especially when you fly. It's small and concise, it's comfortable. So it has different basic phrases in Chinese, it has a dictionary, but I didn't use it, and it has also grammar. Well, basically what I was using it for were basic phrases. Let me show you some of them. As you can see, again, practicing my Chinese. Yeah, so here, for example, on this page, there are different Chinese characters written with pinyin and also with a translation into Russian, and it's very, very useful because there are basic phrases, and well, as I understood, Chinese is the language of patterns, and I think it's easier to learn Chinese if you learn sentence patterns, and then you can apply them to other meanings. So I think something like that, to have something like that, is useful when you travel or you're bored. You just take a look and you practice a bit. And that's it about Chinese. Let's pause to Arabic. For Arabic, right now, right here, I don't have so many paper materials, but I'll explain you also the logics and the structure that I use to study Arabic. Basically, for Arabic, I use a lot of online materials. I subscribe for different channels, YouTube channels, to study Arabic. There are many of them, and I subscribe to several of them, and I'm listening to all of them at the same time. Yes, also to study different dialects. Then, a long time ago, when I only started planning to learn Arabic, and you remember I was telling you that I was practicing mostly the handwriting, the alphabet, etc. I bought this book. It's in Russian, but if you speak Russian, maybe it can be useful for you. Basically, it's a series of books. I have also here in Italian. Let me show you. Like that. So basically it's a series of books that have only the grammar presented in a very schematic way. Me, I'm an analytical person. I like the grammar and I like tables and schemes. I don't know, I perceive this material better than just words and phrases. So I bought for all the languages that they had. They had also Dutch, Swedish, Spanish, Finnish as well, and I think that's it so far, but I hope that they will make other books as well. And from time to time I can use it when I study grammar. I think it's very useful to have something like that, well, of course in your language and with the target language that you are learning. And another resource for Arabic that I'm using is the same page that I mentioned before, openada.ru, and there is also an Arabic course. There are also 2 levels. I'm on the first level so far, but soon I will finish and I'll continue to the second level. And it's in Russian as well, but it has very good structure. It has grammar exercises and native speakers speaking different dialects, basic phrases. I really like it, I enjoy it. And it's very academic. It's also from my university, St. Petersburg State University. So if you speak Russian, I really recommend you this course or any language courses from my university or from this page at least. Unfortunately, on Coursera.org they don't have anything about Arabic, only Korean apart from Chinese, which I also started learning, but I will describe later. And I will just show you, well, my notebook, something that I'm writing. So this is the notebook that I was using for Arabic. Briefly, that's all that I wanted to say today. I think I'll make another video where I'll describe the languages that I'm planning to learn and also the materials that I'm going to use for them, because I also use specific materials and maybe it can be useful for you as well. So thank you very much for watching me and see you soon. Bye bye!